Joining me for insight and analysis this Sunday morning are Teresa of The Washington Post, Kristen Welker of NBC News, Alex Castellanos, an advisor to Donald Trump, and Teresa Kumar of Voto Latino. Welcome to Sunday. It's Meet the Press.
From NBC News in Washington, this is Meet the Press with Chuck Todd.
Welcome back. Let's bring in the panel. Political strategist Alex Castellanos, who is working with one of the Trump super PACs. Kristen Welker of NBC News, who's covering the Clinton campaign for us. Teresa Kumar, president and CEO of Voto Latino. And Teresa, political reporter for the Washington Post. Welcome all. It seemed to me we saw, sometimes it was clumsy, but we saw it over about an 8-day period. They were plowing the field, the Trump folks, of basically waiting for Trump to change his position. And on Wednesday, the Mexico City day, you thought, well, okay. And the meeting with something is afoot. And then the Wednesday night speech. Missed opportunity?
I mean, Donald Trump is so disingenuous, and it's not an honest approach when you're saying that you're going to deport 11 million people almost overnight on a sliding scale. And the fact that he went into the belly of the beast of the Arizona law that said it's the show me your papers law. It's the law that basically condones racial profiling that the Supreme Court said you have to gut. The principal problem, I believe, that the Latino voter has with the immigration law is that it's all code word of we don't like the browning of America. When you start talking that you're going to go ahead and repeal the 14th Amendment of birthright citizenship, when you tell an American journalist to go back to Univision, when you tell people to go ahead and speak English, we know that you're talking about us. And when you start talking about the complexity of immigration reform, these are not individuals that live in silos. You are talking, imagine being in the living room. You're watching this Donald Trump speech as you're eating dinner, and you know that the person sitting next to you, your grandmother or your aunt, is undocumented. We're talking about 6.5 million mixed status households. He wants it both ways, but he's been very clear that he considers two different types of Americans, and one, unfortunately, is not the browning of it.
A little criticism from some Latino leaders thinking the Clinton campaign has been a little slow with their Latino voter pitch. No Spanish language advertising in general election states so far. Are they slow? Are they behind?
The fact that Trump is the Republican candidate has actually given the Hillary campaign tons of media in Spanish media. So much so is that we have
the free media. Trump's everything.
But to really crystallize it, there is a Latino astrologist named Walter Mercado that we've all grown up with listening to in Spanish media. He has gone after anti-Trump. So the fact that she has so much media buy in the Spanish language is good. It's fantastic. But her challenge is actually going to get the Latino millennials, the ones that are English dominant, that may not be turning it on.
It all leads to the Clinton Foundation, something that has been called a slush fund.
But this is my favorite part.
By the Sunlight Foundation.
No, but this is my favorite part. Is Vox recently did a piece on the Clinton Foundation saying that the scandal is that there is no scandal, right? And if you actually look at the work that the Clinton Foundation has done, it's actually good work. But then you take Trump, who basically took his foundation money and actually wrote a check to a campaign. That is actually illegal.
Well, this brings me to the larger issue for Trump, because if you don't, and goes back to the Mike Pence, if you want to make this an issue, Teresa, you've got to release something. You've got to be on even or even higher ground. Back now with Endgame, and speaking of the end, there was a startling quote from a former presidential candidate and a former member of Congress, Michelle Bachmann, in an interview that she did with the Christian Broadcasting Network and David Brody, who is a familiar face around this round table. Here it is.
Well, I don't want to be melodramatic, but I do want to be truthful.
Sure.
And I believe without a shadow of a doubt, this is the last election. This is it. This is the last election. And the reason why I say that, David, is because it's a math problem. She's going to change the demographics of the United States so that no Republican will ever win again.
It was all about us and not about the future. There's a message out there, another generation of Republicans. Let's open up this economy so that everybody benefits. Let's open up our schools. Let's open up health care. Everybody benefits. She's the past. She's what's wrong with the Republican Party.
But the Republican Party had the Latino vote to lose. And what I mean by that is that the Latinos are the fastest purveyors of businesses. They're more, older generations are more conservative. And older generations are. So what she basically just said is she admitted that right now the Republican Party is a white nationalist party. And that's basically what she equated.
Well, she did hers is. is.
She,
the-
that-
the-
but that
Look
is
at
not-
Donald Trump.
But,
The thing
no,
I'm
but,
proudest
but this
about
is the
Donald
thing
Trump-
is that if you actually want
I
a
wish
party
I
of
had an hour.
idea.
I know. I got to pause you guys here.